Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and in my video that I uploaded last Thursday, I mentioned road rage, and it's a problem. Well, Friday we went to a wedding over in Crosby, and when I got off of Beltway 8 and went up the on-ramp to get on to Highway 90, some motion in my rear view mirror caught my attention, and I looked back there, and there's a guy in an SUV. He's whipping back and forth on the road, and behind him there's a guy in a pickup truck whipping back and forth on the road, and apparently the truck was trying to pass the SUV on the on-ramp. Now, what they did to get hacked off at each other, I don't know, but they were definitely acting, like a couple of children. As soon as we got far enough up that there was some concrete to the left of me, the SUV zoomed on past me, and then, in a few seconds, the guy with the truck, he had it floorboarded. He came zooming on past me. But the guy in the SUV escaped up into amongst some cars on the inside lane, and the guy with the truck went whipping down there and tried to weave in there to get to him, but he couldn't penetrate the traffic to get into him, so he finally gave up and went on down the right-hand lane. Now, those two guys was pretty much endangering the lives of all the other people on the road. I mean, I don't care if those two guys kill each other, but other folks not involved in the argument shouldn't be at risk. All right, now then, let's get on with this. Is tying up loose end number 8, I think it is. It'll be on the title, and I do several things, including working on my DRO and some stuff like that. And I'm not going to tell you how it comes out. You have to watch the video. That's kind of sneaky, huh? And anyway, I was thinking, since I got into messing with this, about, I've noticed a lot of people got a DRO on their lathe, and so I was thinking, well, I don't really know much about what functions that would be pertinent to a lathe, besides the fact that you know how far your cross feed is and how deep you're going into a hole, or what distance you fed the carriage. Is there something else that's important, that this thing can do for me? What functions are important in a lathe DRO? So I'm asking you smart guys out there that know about this sort of thing to, down in the comments, leave me some suggestions, or my email address is always right down at the bottom, right in the very first start of the video, right at the bottom of the screen there, and you can send me an email and explain in 15 pages of detail if you feel like it. I've read some DRO manuals here that show that at least there are some cheap Chinese DROs that have a manual that's readable, unlike the manual that came with mine. But anyway, I just thought maybe some of you guys could give me some suggestions. Is there some sort of an important group of functions that a lathe DRO should do, or is it just you're going to be happy with it telling you how far the cross feed is and how far the carriage is gone, or whatever, I think that all should work out. We had a nice time over at the wedding. It was over in Crosby. The only fly in the ointment was that it was in line with Houston Intercontinental. They were landing planes 2 at a time, but other than that, you could have your wedding outside, you could have it inside, or you could have it halfway in and out. They had lots of room and place to do it, and they had barbecue, which is always one of my favorites. Of course, being in Texas, it would be. My life's always interesting in all the different things that can go wrong, and this past Sunday was a steel challenge, and we got rained out last month, so I was really looking forward to this month. Been practicing all that time, but my Ruger had started to have problems. It was starting to have misfires, and I thought, well, it's the cheap ammo, and I switched to the good stuff and started having misfires on the good stuff. And I thought, well, I'll take it anyway, but I took my Smith & Wesson as a backup. But the way the day started out is I got up, and first thing I discovered, I had Montezuma's Revenge. And I got up an hour early because that was the beginning of daylight savings time, so there's 2 bad starts to the morning. And then me and Daisy ate our sausage and egg biscuits, and I took her out for, our trip to leave Daisy Drops. excuse me, and then I come back to brush my teeth and my electric toothbrush don't work. I changed the batteries and it's still dead. And I thought, this isn't looking like a very good start to the day, you know. But anyway, I loaded up the Ruger and the Smith & Wesson and headed on off to the range for the contest, you know. And I got there, and sure enough, my first time up to shoot, I whip out the Ruger and click, 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 click. I'm just ejecting good ammo that don't fire. So I got the guys to excuse me from that turn, and I went off and swapped the red dot off the Ruger and put it on the Smith & Wesson, which was a dumb move to make because I had also been having a little bit of trouble with the red dot, but I'd put a brand new battery in it, so I thought surely it's going to be just right, you know. So when I finally got up for my next turn there with that, you know, that red dot, first two targets bang, bang, and then the red dot goes out. So now I just got the glass, I'm just centering the targets in the middle of the glass, you know, and it takes me twice as long to hit them because there's a couple of misses there, you know. This I'm amazed I was able to center them in the glass. So in between there and the next turn, I take that red dot off and put another one on the Smith & Wesson, and everything went on pretty uneventful from there. But my time went up by 14 seconds because of all the stupid mistakes. And I did an experiment on Smoke and Hope to try to get better, and that cost me some time there too. So I'm still learning, I guess, and next month it's going to be better. The Ruger's going back to the factory to get fixed, and when it comes back we'll see if we're back to the old time again. Oh, I forgot. See this little device here, this is going to water my garden. It watered the garden all last year. And you see that? That's the battery, the first battery I ever put in, and it's still clicking along, and it's within a minute of the correct time according to my you know, electronic atomic clock thing. And I think it's pretty neat. All that time opening and closing the water valve and keeping the time and everything else on the original battery. Alright, we really are going to go to the video now. No kidding. Well, here's a loose end that needs tying up. When I got this knurling tool with my tool post, the rollers that came in it were not too great. In fact, one of them is really bad off center, out around, so it would wobble around and make the metal wobble back and forth. So, to make it all work just right, what I need to do, of course, is replace it with these new ones, and I did. But there's a difference here. The old ones fit fairly snug in this slot. The new ones are somewhat narrower and they wobble around. So what I got to do is come up with some washers to tighten these up. Now I may just look over here in the bin and find a washer that does the job just right, and then again I may have to machine a couple of washers. But whichever is the case, I need to make all the new knurling wheels fit in the old holder. Okay, so let's see here what we've got so we can figure out what we want. Start off here, we've got 0.395. The new ones are 0.3115, so that's about 80 thousandths difference. So while you sleep, I will look around for a washer that's about that thickness. This is about a ½ inch. It's about right. I held it up against the rollers, knurling rollers, and you can see that just about right. It's not going to get in their way, and everything should be lovely. And the hole won't make the edges so thin. That should do it. That should give me room for the parting tool and everything. You kind of clean it up there. Okay, while you guys rest, I will get a dial indicator and a parting tool. All right, I've got a dial indicator down here on the lathe down here, and I've got my parting tool set. So what we're going to do is just move over 80 thousandths, which is what the thickness of that other little fella is, and we will slice this thing off. Maybe I'll move over about maybe 82. Yeah, I like the idea of 82. Just out of curiosity, let me see if I got the right thickness. No, I didn't get it the right thickness at all. I got a washer way too thin. We'll find out. I'm going to try to cut it 85 thousandths thick. Alright, so she looks a lot better this time. Still a little bit thin. I don't know why. This one measures 68 thousandths. It started measuring 85. It looks like the end has rounded off here again. Obviously there's something I've got to learn, so you guys sleep while I figure out how to get it the right size. Alright, so here we are. I know it's wobbling around. These guys have got a nice washer in there now, so that they turn freely, but they don't wobble back and forth, and that might help. I don't know. It might not have even been important. After making several washers, I discovered that, you know, if it was going to come up 10 or 15 thousandths too thin, just to move in that much thicker, and then when I cut it off, it really did cut off at the size I wanted. Now see, this one's really thin here, but these others are much closer to the right size. And who knows, I may need some brass washers that don't matter too much about what size they are for a later job. But what I discovered from my use here, and I'm probably doing something wrong that I don't know, but I just went ahead and measured in whatever I was coming up short, 10 thousandths, 15 thousandths. Then when I parted the thing off, it was the right size. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's how I did it. And that's one more loose end tied up. I think that did quite all right. Certainly looks good to me. Amazing this thing's focusing right today. Alright, really is now the end of that particular loose end.